Connecting the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB.
Macon and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
It is now time for the New Life Show featuring Dr. SHERYL Armstrong every Thursday. Now, let's go live into the studio.
I feel Let's Go Moment.
Jesus as King shall rule and reign. Though Satan's cause may seem to gain, someday all nations great and
Okay. Good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome to the Glory 107.9. I am, it's the New Life Show with Dr. SHERYL Armstrong. Noble Mackey sitting in today. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm a researcher, educator, consultant, and motivational speaker. Born in Georgia. I'm from Georgia. So this is a wonderful opportunity. I hope everyone can hear. At this time, I wanted to go ahead and say, Father God, in the name of Jesus, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you, oh God. Technical glitches out the way. We just praise you. We honor you. We worship you. Thank you for going to say and use through me today to say for your glory. I honor you in Jesus' name. Amen. Today, my topic is going to talk about sickle cell disease and healing from a spiritual perspective. Okay. Subtopic is, do you want to be made whole? A brief education about sickle cell disease, healthcare disparities that some individuals and their families face on a daily basis. Ways you and I and others can advocate for universal laws and enforce that will help everyone and their families who are dealing with sickle cell disease. Today is a new day, and I must do everything in my power effective as I represent the Lord and give him glory and sharing with you information. Many people today, we must become a community of peace when advocating and understanding the complexity of sickle cell disease, comfort in fighting for changes and trying to make everyone understand sickle cell and how to become positive and changing the way our healthcare system and how the medical universities and societies view and how they are helping us somewhat to help those with sickle cell disease. People hate changes. However, change is inevitable. Change, you must change what is happening. It's taking place today within the community of sickle cell disease. Public awareness of disease and sickle cell traits is important. It involves the attention of the community, churches, healthcare workers, local, state, and federal agencies. These entities, in my opinion, must understand and inquire the knowledge of work to help solve problems with healthcare involving the individuals with sickle cell disease and sickle cell traits. One of the things I've been asked a lot of time is, what sickle cell disease? How do you get sickle cell disease? Still to this day, a lady asked me, she said, what is sickle cell disease? I had a shirt on about sickle cell cell disease. So let me explain what it is really. Sickle cell disease, it is more than 2 million people are genetic carriers of sickle cell. And in order for a baby to be born with sickle cell disease, we're born genetically as well with their traits. And once they have a baby, just as is basic, so that you can understand, to gather the sickle cell traits from the father and the traits from the mother joins together to make their newborn a carrier of the sickle cell disease itself. Research, the most prevalent and serious form of sickle cell disease is hemoglobin SS. Cells form a sickle shape instead of the typical round form shape cells. Sickle cells have a shorter lifespan cells itself. The abnormal cells become trapped, causing severe pain. The most common morbidity associated. Let me give you a little bit more history about sickle cell disease. It's difficult and stressful to manage if you do not have it. We must bridge the gap in helping everyone in the USA and abroad how to treat sickle cell disease from a holistic perspective. In 2019, I completed my research. This afternoon, I want to share with you some of my study and hope that you all will understand how important it is to have a plan caring for someone with sickle cell disease, as well as having a relationship. My study has helped medical providers have a better understanding of these strategies. And it also have disease management and the use of health services when it says to have sickle cell disease. Okay. Furthermore, the results of my helping to develop interventions for parents and adults to adopt managing this chronic disease. My study has the existing literature by providing information on disease management. I will talk on 7 topics. So in hopes, again, that you would understand what is taking place today in our own society. These 7 to involve with, again, what is sickle cell disease? Second one, problem community. The third objective I would talk with you about is disease from a holistic perspective. The fourth is understanding sickle spiritual perspective. The fifth topic, you as individuals cope and advocate for sickle cell disease. There are certain ways to cope and to advocate and to cope again for this disease. Objective would be to talk to you about the universal laws for sickle cell disease. 7th one is how to live a spiritual, healthy life, sickle cell disease from a healing perspective. Let's go. Okay. More than 1,000 babies in the United States are born with sickle cell disease each year. One of the researchers is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention reported in 2016 that sickle cell approximately affects over 100,000 Americans and costs more than 475 million at the time. As you can, these totals are very low. The cost of caring for sickle cell today is millions of dollars. Although other racial ethnicity groups are African Americans represent the largest population in the United States. Cell disease is global, impacting people of African, Asian, and Eastern origins. What is sickle cell disease? Sickle cell is an inherited disorder of abnormal hemoglobin synthesis that is associated and progressively multiple organ damages with significant quality of life. Individuals with sickle cell disease experience in their bodies known as sickle cell crisis. I don't know when they're going to come. Some parents, well, some parents share with me. Some parents, even some adults, say they don't have many pain. Okay, it's a crisis. A crisis is when the red blood cells lose their flexibility, become rigid and crescent, and it begins to shape like a sickle. The altar cells that are sickle, they block the vessels in organ damage, and it gives rise to a severe pain as long as a few days, or in several cases. I've known some clients of mine to have been in the hospital as long as 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month with severe pain crisis. And all they need to do is pray and trust God for their healing. Pain, sickle cell disease, that usually leads to hospitalization, which we are in the hospital sometimes as long as 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month. Manage the disease in order to have an effective and healthy lifestyle. Of sickle cell disease and the management of it, you need to dimly functioning. Okay? The family should work. One with sickle cell disease should do this alone. Everyone should be involved. Psychologically vulnerable to a particular situation if they do significant coping resources to handle sickle cell disease adequately. Sickle cell pain crises are brought on primarily through stressors and sharing with families and friends and those that I know that have sickle cell disease. Their crisis came on again through stressors. So reduce the stress of sickle cell disease. It is important to always reduce the stressors. Relax, and the cells will relax in your body and not, form big. Sickle cell, again, as I stated, crises are brought on primarily through stressors. Does the medical industry consider of this molecule disease? These are questions that I ask myself and my peers who have asked. Consider the underlying factors of this molecule disease, and therefore determine from a cellular level. So that is a whole lot. Some of you may not understand that, to deal with that, how you should really treat sickle cell disease from the cellular levels. Does consider the cognitive and behavior effects to manage sickle cell disease with emergency room, or visit the doctors and for other treatments. Thompson and Gustafson, one of the research models that I use, which our mutual place where everyone coping with sickle cell disease could work together in a synchronous, where the families, the doctors, the political leaders, and the institution can all work. I really believe that if we could really teach and train sickle cell disease from the college level, the medical level, I believe be much different, today, if we could just start doing that. That is one of my hopes. Problems with sickle cell disease in the community. Okay, let's talk on that. Individuals and their families continue to face problems within the United States healthcare system. Research showed that only 20% of family comfortable treating sickle cell disease patients. My prayer is that that number will change. Commissioners will get involved with treating individuals and families with sickle cell disease from the college and university levels. With the 20%, this prevents individuals with sickle cell disease from receiving routine, causing them to seek care from the emergency room. Between 50-60% of all emergency room visits by individuals with sickle cell disease are for pain. Managing sickle cell disease in the emergency department has negative consequences both for the individual and the healthcare system itself. For example, emergency room, yes, you're going to have to go. But for an example, the emergency room departments that are familiar with the individual sickle cell disease and may order unnecessary tests or consistent with the patient long-term clinical needs. Some have said in the emergency room 2, 3 to 4 hours before they were seen by. Should not be, because on the outside, again, it looks like everything is well, but it's the end and the fevers and the pain crisis and the acute chest syndrome, some of the things that can happen in the emergency room. So the emergency room is also an go through the emergency room. That could be a hardship. So we need to make sure, emergency room, make that they're seen within 5 to 10 minutes. See blue, make sure that they are seen immediately, okay? In addition, disease are often stigmatized when seeking pain relief at the emergency room. Shared with me that they're considered and being told that they are pain seekers. You know, they're drug seekers. They are not pill seekers. Let me get it right. But they are not pill seekers. These individuals are in pain and need quality attention immediately so that their pain crisis does not get worse and lead health issues or even death if they are not cared for in a timely manner in that emergency. The gap in the medical disparities that exists in the sickle cell community that is on every level. I shared this information with some other doctors that I'm working with. We shared this information together when we were working in the summer, and we came. These are some of the things that is happening on the medical disparity in our community, and we sent this information over to President Biden, myself, other doctors who I hope will come on the show in in a few weeks or months or what they're working with. The medical disparities community involves the education of medical professionals with sickle cell disease without implicit biases. The second bullet, and it was funds being allocated to this area that will make the most impact for many congressional budget office and underfunded and that are in relation resides. We need funding in the community of the African American disease and anyone else who has it. They need fundings in their clinics so that they can. The third information we shared with the president was the multiple research for a holistic approach to preventative maintenance treatment. So we were treating them from a whole person, not just the disease itself. You must treat the soul all together. You need to treat it as a wholeness, okay? Many are rooted in a system that is unwilling to admit that the race is a factor